The clock struck midnight, and the world outside was cloaked in silence. Inside the dimly lit dining room of their modest apartment, the air was thick with tension. The candles on the table flickered, casting long shadows on the walls. The remains of a once romantic dinner, chicken parmesan, garlic mashed potatoes, and a half-empty bottle of red wine, sat untouched. The playlist of slow, nostalgic songs had long since stopped playing. Elena, her cheeks flushed from the wine, leaned back in her chair, her dark hair falling loosely over her shoulders. Her eyes, usually sharp and calculating, were now glazed over, her words slurring as she spoke. Across from her, Marcus sat frozen, his heart pounding in his chest. He had spent hours preparing this dinner, hoping it would rekindle the spark that had been missing for months. But now, as Elena's words spilled out, he realized how foolish he had been. "You're a good man, Marcus," she said, her voice dripping with a mix of pity and indifference. "You're kind, dependable, safe. But I was never really attracted to you. Not in that way." The words hit Marcus like a punch to the gut. He felt the room spin, his hands gripping the edge of the table to steady himself. He wanted to speak, to ask her what she meant, but his voice caught in his throat. Elena, oblivious to his pain, continued. "I mean, you're not my type," she said, her tone casual, as if she were discussing the weather. "I like men who are rougher, more unpredictable. Men who aren't afraid to break the rules. You're too nice." She laughed softly, a sound that once made Marcus's heart flutter, but now felt like a dagger twisting in his chest. And then, as if to twist the knife further, she added, "When I met someone like that, I couldn't resist. One thing led to another," and she trailed off, shrugging as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Marcus sat there, numb, his mind racing. He had always known something was off between them, but he had chalked it up to stress, to the demands of their busy lives. He had told himself that if he just worked harder, loved harder, everything would be okay. But now, as he listened to Elena's drunken confession, he realized how wrong he had been. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He simply nodded, his face a mask of calm, while inside, his world crumbled. When Elena finally passed out on the couch, her words still echoing in his mind, Marcus made a decision. By sunrise, he was gone. Marcus had always been a man of action, quiet, deliberate, and precise. He wasn't the type to make impulsive decisions, but when he did, he followed through with unwavering determination. That morning, as the first rays of sunlight peeked through the curtains, Marcus packed a single bag, left the apartment, and vanished without a trace. His first call was to his lawyer, a sharp, no-nonsense woman named Clara. "I need divorce papers drawn up," he said, his voice steady despite the storm raging inside him. "Make sure everything is airtight. I don't want her to get a single penny more than she deserves." Next, he called his accountant, a meticulous man named Victor. "Liquidate everything," Marcus instructed. "Shares, investments, joint accounts. I want full control over my assets by the end of the day." Finally, he called his family. "If she reaches out to you," he told them, "don't engage. Don't tell her anything. I don't want her to have the satisfaction of knowing where I am or what I'm doing." Marcus didn't leave a note. He didn't say goodbye. He simply disappeared, leaving Elena to wake up to an empty apartment and the cold, hard reality of what she had lost. Weeks turned into months, and Marcus's life began to take on a new rhythm. He moved to a small town on the coast, far from the city and the memories that haunted him. He found solace in the simplicity of his new life. Early morning walks along the beach, quiet evenings with a book, and the occasional visit from his family. Meanwhile, Elena's life spiraled out of control. The settlement money Marcus had worked so hard to build was quickly squandered on nights out, expensive clothes, and a revolving door of men. She became pregnant, the father vanishing as soon as he heard the news. Her friends, once eager to be part of her glamorous life, drifted away when the money ran out and the drama became too much. Years passed, and Marcus's wounds began to heal. He rebuilt his life, piece by piece, finding strength in the solitude he had once feared. Then, one day, the doorbell rang. He wasn't expecting anyone, so when he opened the door to find Elena standing there, his heart didn't skip a beat. She looked the same, but there was a weariness in her eyes that hadn't been there before. She started to speak, her voice trembling with regret, but Marcus cut her off. "You made your choice," he said, his voice calm but firm. "You were never attracted to me, remember? I wasn't your type. So go find your type and see if he wants you now." He closed the door, leaving her standing there, her apologies unspoken. As he walked away, Marcus realized that he had found something far more valuable than closure. He had found himself. Sometimes, the greatest gift you can give someone who betrays you is your absence. And sometimes, the best thing you can do for yourself is to walk away and never look back. Marcus learned this the hard way, but in losing Elena, he found something far more important, his own worth. So, I ask you, if you were in Marcus's shoes, what would you have done? Would you have stayed and fought for someone who didn't value you? Or would you have walked away, knowing that sometimes the hardest choices lead to the greatest rewards? This story is a reminder that love isn't about perfection. It's about respect, trust, and mutual appreciation. And when those things are missing, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let go.